Hey everyone, welcome to the weekly roundup for the week ending the 10th of June 2023 for Eve Echoes. If this is your first time listening to one of these, I'll be rounding off the news for the week, however much or little there may be, and finish it off with a developer Q&A that I typically have to screen grab from Captain Benzie's video because I release these videos about 4 or 5 hours before they actually get pinged on Discord. But hey ho, without any further ramble, let's get on with the video, shall we? So, as you can see on the screen, Plex is back on the market. You can actually buy Plex without placing a buy order and waiting 2 days to see if it happens. You can now go straight to the market tab, buy your 170 Plex for your basic Omega or whatever the purpose it may be for, and job's a good one. It's over with, done, you can move on, don't have to worry about it. It is worth noting though that Plex prices are notably higher than they were before the Plex shortage. It has been coming down little by little. The question will be, of course, where does it settle? But the important thing is, it's there, you can buy it, you just might have to grind a tiny bit harder for it if necessary. Moving on, of course, we have super carriers. And let me just zoom in a little bit just so this uses up more of the screen. Super carriers are now in the game. Going by memory, they are the Nyx, the Aeon, and I honestly can't remember the other two. Feel free to mention them in the comments section below. I did a really poor job at preparing for this video, but we have them in the game. They can only be built in the new T4 Citadels, and of course in ITCs. Those are also the only locations they can dock in, so they will introduce a rather new element to the whole strategy surrounding them, because of course you can't just stage anywhere, can you? If I recall from one of the comments in a previous video regarding super carriers and what it means for the rest of us, one comment suggested that they're around the 200 billion mark with regards to cost in building them. So how many people are going to be flying them in the next 6 months? God only knows. But that's it for the news this week, and we'll be topping off with the developer Q&A. So if I zoom out, there we go. I'm getting the hang of this. So developer Q&A for the past week or so. Question number 1. Will there be a function in the future to customize or change your avatar? Maybe an event that gives you special clothes the avatar can fit, like in EVE Online. Now, whilst quite a large number of us, myself included, would quite enjoy a bit more character customization with regards to that little portrait at the top left, it is worth noting that the ones we have at the moment are basically pre-assembled JPEGs or PNGs, whatever they may be. There is no character creation process, as it were, and as we currently have no character creation process, there would be no way of easily customizing the existing avatars. It would require a redesign of the whole system. And whilst EVE Online has a very, very thorough and technical customization process, it's not really used. It's like you'll spend 3/4 of an hour maybe designing your character, and then how many times will you actually be using your character walking around in the station environment? Not at all, really. But yeah, let's get on to the answer for this one. Thank you for your interest in EVE Echoes. Of course, yeah. Unfortunately, the avatars in EVE Echoes are not editable, just as I've said, and do not support clothes changing. We have considered adding avatar frames and other decorations, but due to limited staffing, this low prioritised feature wouldn't meet with players in the short term. Wouldn't meet the needs of players. They should, yeah, bit of a grammatical error there, but we know what they're saying. Basically, it doesn't add very much to the game, and introducing a way of being able to edit these JPEGs, it just wouldn't be worth it. Maybe if they were to use the same character creator that they used internally to generate those JPEGs, it might have even been the EVE Online one for all we know. Would be nice if they just created some more, for us to choose from, as it were. Just gives a bit more diversity, because the amount of times I've seen a character profile with the exact same portrait as my own, it just feels weird. Anyway, let's move on to the next question. Question number 2. With the successful introduction of carriers, faction carriers, I don't know what I was trying to say then, faction carriers and Science C, and soon the super carriers, is there any plan to add a fighter or lightweight specific... I'm really bad at reading, guys, just to let you know if this is your first video. Let's try this sentence again. Is there any plan to add a fighter lightweight ship specific implant? The effects could be similar to Warhead Charge. Toggle type to focus command, focus attack single enemies that increase flight speed but reduce the percentage of damage, and scramble command. Each fighter or lightweight ship targets random enemies, restrict player command, but increase percentage damage and target tracking, but lowers flight speed. This could make epic scene in space. And yeah, this person's put a lot of thought into it. I've never actually seen a faction carrier undocked, although I don't undock around carriers all that often. Answer. Hi there. The drone implants also work on fighters and lightweight ships. We do not plan to develop the dedicated implants at this time. Fair enough. I think we've got pretty good coverage for implants so far. It's non-combat implants that probably need a little bit of looking at. I mean, personally speaking, something for exploration. It doesn't have to be straight up buffs here and straight up buffs there. Something for in exploration, just to make things a bit more interesting. Yeah, I'd go for that. But anyway, that's that question. I don't know what else to say there. Moving on to question number 3. Do you have plans to allow... No, hold on. My brain is really bad at this. Do you have plans allowing to repackage gold nanocore? Thank you for your question. Currently, we do not have plans to allow repackaging of gold nanocores because we want to keep them non-tradable. Also, repackaging will cause some attribute loss. Yeah, the way I see it there is the nanocores that you upgrade to gold are most likely going to be, statistically speaking, then they'll be built up on the purple nanocores that you'll have invested tons of resources into. Now, I don't know about you, but a purple nanocore that I've upgraded at least 4 attributes on and spent so many of those blue balls on re-rolling the attributes, under no circumstances, whether or not a ship gets nerfed or buffed or whatever, under no circumstances would I repackage that nanocore. Because the rewards that I'd get for repackaging it and getting all of those bits back would be nothing compared to what I've lost through the investment, whether it's from losing materials on the upgrade process or the re-rolling of attributes. Just wouldn't be worth it. And when you get to gold, that's just taking it a step further. You've got even more potential loss. So maybe I'm just not the sort of person that would even consider it, but I wouldn't repackage a gold nanocore. I just wouldn't. So I honestly don't know sometimes where these questions come from, because we've had a question like this in the past. But anyway, let's stop rambling. Question number 4. Will the Concorde carrier have nanocore in the future? I presume, of course, they're talking about the Science C. Yes, it will. We are gonna, that's proper English right there, we are gonna release it in the upcoming Interstellar Bazaar event. Stay tuned. For those of you that are unfamiliar, the Interstellar Bazaar tends to be a spending event whereby you buy a bunch of Aurum with real money and then jump into the competition on who can spend the most Aurum on these limited time prizes. And the limited time prizes in the Interstellar Bazaar are always your capital nanocores. Yeah, there's a lot to say about this. The whales have a good time spending money and helping to finance the game, which I can't argue against. But the rest of us just see a loot box. And when it comes to... I'm going off on a tangent here, so feel free to skip ahead 30 seconds if you want to the next question. But personally speaking, I will only spend money on a game when there is when there's something tangible that I can purchase. Not tangible as in I can put it in my hand, because in that case I wouldn't be playing this game. I'm talking like I know what I'm purchasing, I know what I'm going to get back out of the purchase. So during these Interstellar Bazaars, unless you buy the maximum amount to guarantee you the 100% reward of getting that nanocore, when it's behind a loot box, I can't buy it because I don't know what I'm buying. I could spend £20 on a bunch of these Interstellar Bazaar boxes, whatever they happen to be the next time around, and not get anything that I wanted. But during the Halloween event, I could spend £8 on a skin, and I can choose what skin I want. There is no gamble in it. So yeah, that's my ramble about the so-called upcoming Interstellar Bazaar, just so you know where I stand. I'm going to move on to the next question now, so I don't bore you guys too much. So the fifth and final question. As other special faction cruisers are coming out, is there any plan to add Mordu's Legion, I'll try to say that properly, and SOE special faction ships? Okay, that would be interesting, I guess. Answer: we appreciate your feedback. Unfortunately, we do not have any immediate plans to add them to the game. Because of limited staffing, we will prioritise releasing special ships of the more popular factions. If we have the opportunity in the future, we will add more varieties of special faction ships. Thank you for your support. So what they're saying there is not enough people are flying Mordu's Legion or SOE faction ships. But we kind of know why that is, don't we guys? It's because they're locked behind faction wargames, which nobody wants to do because it's bloody boring. And because nobody wants to do them, there's no ships being made for them, so the prices are somewhat higher than they should be. So nobody's flying them. And because nobody's flying them, netties don't want to commit the resources to making upgraded versions. Yeah. If you want to have a look, I do have a ramble video. I know I'm going off on a tangent and this should be the end of the video. But if you want to have a look, I do have a ramble video covering specifically faction wargames and how it could be improved. If you guys want to throw in your own suggestions, feel free to add to the comment section on that particular video. I will be leaving a link to that video in the link below, just in case you guys want to watch it. But yeah, that rounds off the... there we are, we'll end it on this screen. So that rounds off this particular weekly roundup for Eve Echoes. Is there anything that I missed with regards to game updates or big events that are player driven that affect everyone? If so, if I've missed anything out, let me know in the comment section below. I always like to know what I've missed, because I'm one of those people that just, they might not play the game quite as much as everyone else, but you're like that nosy neighbour, just always wanting to know what's going on. But anyway, thanks again for listening. I will see you guys in the next video.